Okay, now we're going to take a look at Mayra's portrait project. So let's see here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah, very nice pose and a very nice setup. A couple of things. I think that your background is a little bit blown out. It's just really hard when you've got the sky in there when you're shooting outside. A lot of times you can just kind of underexpose a little bit. Or another thing you can do is underexpose a little bit and use your flash, which would kind of fill in some of those shadows. Let's see. Shutter speed is kind of slow here. We don't want to go that slow on the shutter speed, especially on a portrait where focus is, primary concern. I mean, it looks fairly in focus, but it's possible that the eyes could be a little bit sharper. So just kind of be mindful of that. Not really sure. Okay, yeah, so let's go to this one. Also I'd say this one's pretty blown out. It's too bad because the composition is good. The point of view is good, having him kind of look down and back over his shoulder at you. That's really an interesting a portrait, almost like you kind of came up behind him and surprised him a little bit. But the background being blown out, and honestly, he's looking kind of overexposed as well. So this one just kind of has an overall pale quality. Like, I'm pretty sure that these reds here are probably a lot more saturated. And again, I think it's a little soft on the eyes. Okay, now that's a much more flattering picture. The light is better in this one. The facial expression is nice, just kind of very, very relaxed. I mean, I think it's nice the way you framed him under this blue thing as well. Otherwise, kind of some of the same criticisms as the others as far as focus is concerned, and the exposure. It's not as blown out as the previous one, but it's still a little bit washed out looking. Okay, you got warmer skin tones here. Completely different kind of white balance. I think that your subject looks a little bit better with the warmer skin tones. That tends to be the most flattering is going with the warmer skin tones. And other than that, same as before, the focus and the I do think it's still a little bit overexposed. I mean, it's nice that you've got really even light. I think you went out there on an overcast day, which is great. But there's still quite a bit of light on the overcast days, and so I'm kind of thinking I don't think your ISO needed to be that high. And yeah, I'm kind of puzzled as to why you would need to have a 15th of a second. That really, yeah, I'm not really sure what the situation was with that, because it doesn't quite add up. But nevertheless, it's pretty much just kind of the same as before. Okay, now the black and white one is nice. Then we're not having to deal with some of these white balance issues, the blowout issues. I think that you could use more contrast in this one. It's definitely a little soft right in here where it should be nice and crisp. I like the shallow depth of field. The facial expression is great, a very, very relaxed face, and, very just kind of a very intent, direct gaze, which I think is really nice. Interesting composition too. I like this kind of crisscrossing, you've got this one branch coming this way and then you've got this other one kind of coming like that. It's really nice. Okay. And a little bit of personality coming through in this one, just a little tiny bit of a smirk, which is nice. It's just, barely the corner of the lips are curled up just a bit. So I guess he was being very patient with you. But yeah, your subject was great. For the most part, your compositions were really good. The poses were fantastic. But we do have some issues with exposure and focus on these. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that what you're saying here is very, you can tell by his facial expression that these are very personal, that the subject is, clearly, knows the photographer on a very intimate level. I think that kind of comes through. And that kind of comfort with, he seemed very, very comfortable with the photographer, with the camera. So, I think that was nice, but yeah. Okay, so good job.